Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the 2021 Patriots Unfiltered Draft Show, presented by BOSE.
Welcome to the NFL Draft.
With Mike Dussault.
Isn't his name McCorkle too? I don't think it's like
That's his real first name?
I think it's McCorkle.
McCorkle?
Yeah, not something traditional, not McDonald or anything like that.
Eric Scalavino.
Can I ask a question?
You just did.
Paul Perillo.
If that's where he ends up getting taken, I might shake my ass in everyone's face for like months. If he ends up getting taken with Juice,
And Fred Kirsch.
Paul. Fred.
We spent all year saying how bad Cam Newton was.
Right.
I know.
He better win it. Mac Jones better win the job.
Oh,
This is the 2021 Patriots Unfiltered Draft Show,
The New England Patriots select.
presented by BOSE.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Saturday, day 3 of the NFL Draft, and we're here deep inside Gillette Stadium in our studios. It's Mike Dussault, Eric Scalavino, Paul Perillo, myself, Fred Kirsch, and in the booth, Matt LePan for his second day in a row. Matt Morrell is off at a COVID-postponed wedding.
He's celebrating.
that he's the best man of. So, but we'll be here until 4 o'clock today, taking your calls and emails. We'll have live video for the first hour, and then per NFL rules, we'll switch over to just audio from 3 to 4. So, guys, we've had a few picks since the last time we were on air. What do you think of the guys that they picked up last night and today?
Continuing the tradition now of picking back-to-back players from the same school. They went with 2 Oklahoma guys, another defensive lineman in Ronnie Perkins, and then the running back today, Ramondre Stevenson, who as soon as I was looking at his stats, I said to Paul, oh, he kind of looks like a LeGarrette Blount type. And then we just had him on the conference call a few moments ago, and he said it's one of the players he loved watching when he was growing up.
I think he's a little shorter than Blunt, but heft-wise, he's a bigger back.
Yes.
Bigger back, a lot of
He's,
praise for his pass
235, 240.
Yeah.
Depending on where you look, he's listed, anywhere in that range.
Yeah.
He's definitely not as tall as Blunt, but that's, Blunt was 250-ish.
Yeah.
And this guy, I think, was 246.
Yeah.
When he
We
finished
think
playing
he
at
lost
Oklahoma,
some
right?
weight. We think he's down to like 230 now.
235,
Yeah.
230 and change. But, yeah, I mean, I think that Mike and I talked a lot in our podcasts about running back. I think we both sort of looked more toward like maybe a committee guy, and I think that's what this guy is. Whether it's a pass catcher or a guy that could carry the ball, this guy might be able to do a little bit of both. I wouldn't expect him to do much of that right away.
Special teams, he also pointed out.
But a real physical guy. A real, the size, he plays to the size. It's not one of these big guys who prances.
He looks for contact.
He's a big guy who likes to move the pile.
And it's interesting, like, his pass protection is something that each of the scouting reports seem to praise, which you don't really usually see. So definitely for his size, power, north, south, that's what he said on his call too. I just think I was a little surprised. I leaned more towards the pass catching guys. I think that's why I like Michael Carter, who I think went maybe the second pick today.
He did.
Who's a little bit more of that style. Because, James White on a 1-year deal, at least you got Damian Harris and Sony Michel for 1 year, but a little bit of crossover there with early down, big back, but I guess they like who they like, and so I think his development based on he does have some positive pass catching attributes, so we'll see how he develops. It'd be interesting to see a big guy like that catching the ball and being a threat. So but I don't expect him to be a 3-down guy right out of the shoot.
No.
But goal line, short yardage.
Well,
But
we
he
saw
plays
him
special
catch some
teams, so-
swing
Yeah.
passes. He
Some special teams, yeah.
didn't look like he was falling all over himself.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looked-
So and then last night,
Right.
The catching the ball part isn't the trick.
Yeah.
I think these guys can generally catch the ball. Sony Michel was an outstanding receiver at Georgia. I just think it's
lean into the strengths.
their ability to pick up on the intricacies of the NFL passing game as running backs. And that will start with pass protection, which one of the analysts, I think Louis Riddick, mentioned or it might have been Todd McShay, mentioned that was a real strength. He'll be able to protect the passer and Belichick's system, that's a big plus in his.
I mean, that's a big thing for rookies. That always seems like
that's
that's what keeps them off the field. And then last night with Perkins, a little bit of a surprise to me. Somebody a little bit off my radar. Somebody I dismissed a little bit. I think he does have some. He
wasn't one of the 50.
He wasn't on the 50, Paul, but Stevenson was. So I got 2 now.
Oh, good. Thank goodness. 50 guys. Thank goodness we have a couple.
Yeah,
of
but 2 out of 4 picks. That's not bad.
Not bad. We'll see.
No, it's 2 out of 50.
No, they only made 4 picks.
That's right.
All right. But I don't know. Perkins, it seems like in free agency and defense, they addressed, let's stop the run. And now in continuing the draft, they seem like the pass guys. They're passing down guys. I think Barmore and Perkins, if there's one thing they did well, it was get after the passer and be disruptive. And, getting a little bit more into watching some of Perkins, I'm not really sure about him. He doesn't really – there's nothing about him that
we have
screams,
a kicker alert. Oh. The Bengals took a kicker.
But nothing about him that really screams Patriots to me. And so I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see how they see him fitting in. But Winovich 2 years ago, Uche last year, and now this guy this year. So they're definitely paying attention to third down pass rushing guys. And are these guys going to, kind of be the package of third and long? This is who goes out there, Perkins.
And they signed Judon.
And Judon
in the offseason.
And I think, Judon and Van Noy a little bit more
Van Noy
balanced.
back,
You can count on them in early downs. And I think that's still the question for Winovich and Uche. And now for Ronnie is, Ronnie. It just lies at the top.
It is starting to get a little
Perkins and
crowded.
Judon make them a faster team on defense?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think of Judon as speed so much as I do just kind of strength. I do think that Perkins shows some good speed and ability to kind of knife through the line and make some plays in the backfield. But I think if you're watching his highlights, he kind of looks to me more like a 4-3 defensive end. And I have read that he has done a little bit of standing up, and we know that they love to be able to have guys do different things. But I don't know. I think Perkins is a little bit of a question mark for me right now, exactly how he's going to fit in. I mean, he certainly is going right into a competitive situation with some young guys and some old guys. It's really that defense. I mean, they have remade that defensive front, which I'm excited about. It's just, how's it all going to come together? Who's going to do what? Competition's going to be fierce, and those young guys like Winovich, Uche, Jennings, they got to make some strides, or they're not going to be playing.
They kind of had to remake that defensive front because they were pushed around a lot in that loss to Tennessee in the wild card round a couple of years ago. They got run on too frequently last year too. They didn't have enough consistent pass rush over the last few years, so they kind of had to do something, and they're at least in these moves we've seen this offseason trying to do that. Like you said, we'll see who ends up winning this war of attrition on the roster, but it's a crowded room on that D line and that.
And that
front
was something,
seven.
Deuce, that you mentioned last night off air after we were done, after we took Perkins. Thinking about all the guys they've added, and then sort of wondering where that leaves some of the guys that we have. The Winoviches of the world, Anthony Jennings, as a guy like this Perkins guy, kind of, what I'm reading about seems similar to Jennings a little bit. I don't know if he's a defensive end more than Jennings, because Jennings had that sort of versatility
and
coming out.
He was a stand-up kind of outside
Stand
guy.
up outside, like
and everything
an edge
I saw
guy.
with Ronnie was hand down.
Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't mean to snap out. I don't really care how he starts. He plays the same spot.
Yeah. And that's what Bill
if he's
implied
down,
too.
if he's up, I don't really care. That neither one of them look like they play going backwards. They go forward. And I'm just kind of wondering, when you said that last night about, I think you mentioned Winovich, Mike, and it kind of got me thinking, I wonder how much they really like these guys. I'm pretty sure they like Uche, which is kind of a different skill set. But I wonder if maybe, you get these guys that they brought in, and don't just pencil in every free agent that they signed as a roster spot either.
Or guys that they have on the team, have had on the team, like Winovich. Don't pencil him in as a sure.
Yeah, and I'm not suggesting that Winovich is going to get cut. I don't think he will. But I don't think they love him, and I think if they could get a guy they feel like could play more consistently on all downs and not necessarily just situationally, I think they would do it.
Well, they definitely want to create some competition.
I mean, you look at it, and there's really 6 outside linebacker types right now. 6, and that's a lot, And how are you going to get snaps for all those guys? I just don't think the train waits for anybody, and Chase now coming up on year 3. I mean, it's going to be put up or shut up now because he's got guys that are going to be breathing down his neck. He's got 2 veterans above him. I think Uche's got to make a jump, and I think those guys pass rush. They pass rush well. Can they do more than that? I still think even if not, Uche probably really great defensive pass rusher. I think he still can do some damage that way. Chase was kind of hot and cold last year with that.
Paul, that Gainwell guy just went to Philly.
Yeah, my favorite pass-catching guy. Him and Michael Carter, those are the 2 guys I really liked as third down backs. Kenneth Gainwell went to the
Philly.
Eagles.
We're into the 7th pick of the 5th round. The Patriots have a pick at the close to the end of the 5th round,
Yeah.
33rd pick.
overall.
First
33rd in the
The
round.
first compensatory pick of this round is
Right.
as well, same as the
So
third round.
they have 4 total picks left.
They were still about 27 away here from 177.
They go a little faster.
Yeah.
5 minutes.
4 in this. 5 minutes and then 4 in the 7th round.
Yeah. So we'll see what the Patriots do. I mean,
yeah, and
you
I
know,
think
it's at this point you're throwing darts.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I mean, and I think last night the running back, I mean, the quarterback, obviously that was a need, and they addressed that need, and I don't know how much of a glaring need that I'm glad we got Barmore. I'm excited to have him, but was defensive tackle a 2nd round need? Maybe, depending on how he turns out, but. I just felt like running back was only the 2nd time in this draft where we were like, that was a need. That was something we feel like they needed to hit. I still think that they need to add offensive line a little bit, maybe reinforce the tackle spot, take a guard, and cornerback. That, again, that was, those 2 spots were ones that we all said, first round, maybe that those could be, and they haven't touched him
Yeah,
yet.
of course not.
Not at all.
Yeah, and I do think the edge guy, like I do think Perkins was a need too. Like I agree with Mike about Barmore. I think Barmore, they just looked at it and said, this guy is way too good.
We can't pass him
right.
up. Yeah.
Because I think they paid a lot to go up and get him.
Yeah.
That was not, I mean, we only look at like those picks in the first round when you go from 12 to 3 like the Niners did and say, oh, that cost you a lot. But 2 4th-round picks to move up a handful of spots in the 2nd round that's an inexpensive trade.
And Bill said last night teams are paying a little bit more this year than the average to move up, and that included us.
Yeah. That was, and the more I watched Barmore today, the more excited I got of just how disruptive he is. And I know last night we kind of compared him a little bit to Adam Butler, and I mean, I think the role is similar, but I think Adam Butler was a little more speed, and this guy is power. I mean, you get seen some of these things where he just gets guys on roller skates and
this
chucks
guy's
them.
way more talented.
Yeah. So I think you got to be excited about the pick. How does it all kind of come together? We'll figure it out in training camp, but it's going to be a really, really interesting kind of battle about how this front 7 gets put together.
Another war room.
Raiders
war room
high-fiving.
congratulating themselves for doing their job.
I think it's now gotten to the point where the Fred Kirschisms have become sort of like caricatures of themselves. Like, it's now the Patriots are the only team that doesn't get up and have a mass celebration after a pick.
Yeah. It's not like a gender reveal party going
Like,
on.
you just got the guy that you were dying to get in the 5th round.
Right.
If you loved him that much, why didn't you pick him earlier?
Oh, my God. I don't know if it's like more of a show for the fans to show, or the owner. Look at us.
Yeah.
See? We
What
got you
did you say last night? No one's going to tell us we're not making our pick.
Right. Nobody's going to get it our way. Oh,
No
God.
one's going to keep us
from making our pick. Nobody.
855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Webradio@patriots.com is the email address. You can join in the show either way. We've already got people standing by on the Ace Ticket hotline, so let's get over there. Willie's in Philly. What's up, William?
Hey, Fred, how you doing?
Good.
Good. Hey, Paul, how you feel?
I'm feeling good. How you doing? I haven't even had any Miller Lights today.
It's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
Yes, sir. Yes, it is. Can I be honest with y'all? Okay, so I love all the draft picks.
No, be dishonest.
All right, the Mac Jones, all the picks are great. I love all that. However, where's that dynamic receiver though?
Yeah.
Second year in a row. I mean, it's,
Mike and I were really looking for one in the 2nd round, and
yes,
didn't happen.
Dwayne Estrich is gone.
they're all gone. They're all gone.
Amari Rogers. I'm like, oh man, come on.
I know.
Jesus.
And I mean, and not that I'm
Advocating
for it, but
today.
I think you got to look at it as a vote of confidence for looking at Harry and looking at Myers again. You know
I
what
don't
I mean?
look at it that
Okay.
way at all.
Nothing. You think they just
ain't
nobody
there.
there? They just wouldn't even want to do it.
They don't get bullied into picks. I will say that I think some of it you could make it as a compliment and say that he's not going to kowtow and just make the pick. And on the flip side, I think you could call it a little bit of stubbornness. Like, because there's too many stories that have been out about N'Keal Harry being involved in trade. Like, I don't think they hold much hope of N'Keal Harry. Now, Jacoby Myers, they may still have some hope for him. I think he had a very promising year last year. I think they feel like if they could get that out of him again, and then you add Bourne and Aguilar, okay, maybe we have a little something. But I also think they probably feel like their passing game is going to be limited no matter what this year.
Yeah, you're either going to have Cam,
You're either gonna have Cam
or a guy
Newton or
that's
a
never
rookie.
done it before.
Yeah.
Well,
And you got
with
two
that
tight ends.
receiving core, yeah, it's going to be limited.
Right, and you have the 2 tight ends, is right, Mike. So I'm looking for the future. I think that they need a playmaking wide receiver.
Thank you,
But
Paul.
but
Yes.
for this year, like I don't think it'll be a killer not to have one.
Yeah.
But I'm disappointed.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie.
That's
I'm
I mean,
disappointed.
I hate to say it, but you like what the Jets did. You know, those are guys that you kind of wanted them to make that kind of move. You know, get a catching back and a receiver. But I'm with you, especially with the young quarterback. Would have loved to, got one of those guys that's explosive and slot, and maybe they can start, working on those practice reps at the end and building some chemistry. But we'll see. They might take a flyer on somebody, but I won't really have any expectations for them to do anything this year, really.
Thanks, William. Appreciate the call.
I'm with William though. I like most of what we've done, and I was a little disappointed not to have a wide receiver
Again.
Let's go to Jeff in Texas. Hey, Jeff.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good.
All right.
Good. Listen, great show. I really enjoyed listening to the you guys' draft coverage. It's been great. Listening to the whole the whole show last 2 days. So anyway, I want to make a quick point before I ask my question about the quarterback selection, Mac Jones, and listening to. It was just interesting listening to you, Mike, about how you were grading Mac as far as his talent, and then Paul, kind of on the fence. But basically, it really comes down to, and I listened to Belichick's question and answer the first night there, and basically what he said just makes a ton of sense. I mean, all the early draft picks in the first round, everybody is talented at the college level, and now it's like we have to wait and see who can make the transition up to the pro level. That's really, and I mean, that's Mac Jones. We'll see. So really, everybody, we just have to wait and see, and get into the training camps, and then we'll really see. So that's all I wanted to say about that.
Thanks, Jeff.
My question, though, can I ask my question?
Sure.
Okay. My question is about the wide receivers. So, and I know you guys were just speaking about that a second ago, but now that there's no more Edelman this year, he's not coming back. So, what do you guys see for the role as far as like Aguilar, Bourne, Myers? I mean, N'Keal Harry. I mean, you can't count on anything on him. I was really hoping he gets traded away and maybe gets a fresh start with another team, because I think that's what he needs. It's just too painful watching him out there with Cam trying to, But I really think we need a veteran. We've got to draft a veteran, and during the training camp season or whatever. Who do you guys think would come available? Who do you think they might target?
You mean
sign a veteran?
Yeah, you mean sign a veteran, right? I get you.
Yeah, I think. I mean, when you get to this stage in the offseason of the team building process, it's very rare for a marquee player or worthwhile
Like
significant
Larry
player
Fitzgerald.
to be shaken loose.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
it
need
does
a 30
happen.
Like, you could get
last year
that.
they got Cam.
I don't need a 35-year-old receiver, even if
Right.
he used to be a superstar. And
But
You've
may-
basically
like,
got your
maybe
team made up
Julio
the way
Jones.
it's going to be.
Yeah.
If they wait till June 1st or whatever, I don't know. Like how I don't think they have to wait till June 1st, because I think you can declare it as a release. But if you trade him, you have to wait for June 1st.
Yeah.
Maybe that's one of the things.
If somebody like that came available, yeah, great, wonderful. But short of that, I mean, you've got what you've got.
Hard to predict.
right now.
Hard to imagine you're going to get a guy better than the 2 guys you signed.
Yeah.
Now.
Right. All right. Let's take a break. We'll be right back with more of your calls and emails after this.
To all those rookies waiting for that call tonight, I got a little piece of advice for you. Don't let anybody tell you that looks don't matter in this game. Because, baby, when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, oh, you prime time good.
NFL Draft first round pick, Deion Sanders.
Gillette, baby, the best a man can get.
Patriots Unfiltered, 855 PATS 500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Web radio at patriots.com. James wants to know why Eric always wears a hat when we're on video.
Why do you care?
He just wants to know, Eric.
Because I like it.
Okay.
Again, why do you care?
Ask James.
I'm asking him.
Yeah.
Why do you care?
What reason could there possibly be other than you like it?
I mean, yeah, seriously. Like,
It's in honor of
dumb,
my-
obvious question of the day.
I had a teacher once when I was young who always wore scully caps, and this is for him.
No.
I think it looks good, Scal.
Oh, thanks.
Cousin Ken Walter
remember
writes
asking,
in,
but-
I bet you didn't know that I, too, am a very, very distant cousin of Vince Ferragamo's.
This is the real Ken Walter, right?
Yes, Deuce.
I didn't think he knows it either. It was great to hear Cousin Vinny's check-in Thursday night. Not butchered at all. I hope this doesn't make things awkward when you're lobbying for me at the Patriots Hall of Fame meetings. Draft question for you. In this age of specialization, where would I be drafted nowadays as a pure placeholder? I'm thinking day 2, depending on the placeholder draft class. One other question. When is the new kids feature story on me getting printed? I want to be sure to get a copy before they sell out. I can't seem to find one anywhere these days. So
Stay on the lookout.
Keep
Soon.
looking.
Soon.
Looking.
Ken Walter checking in.
So you got. I mean, we laughed about this after the last time he wrote in, but I didn't realize that was not the real Ken Walter.
We should have.
Connor in Boston writes in, having 2 days to let it sink in. I'm right here with Eric and Paul. I'm happy the team took a quarterback, so we hopefully don't have to be in a quarterback limbo every offseason. I just don't like Mac Jones very much, but I hope he outperforms my expectations.
Yeah.
I-
Exactly.
I saw
Hug
someone.
a cop.
I saw someone on Twitter make the point that if you had flipped the picks, Barmore at 15 and Jones at 38, not as many people would have been upset with the selection. It's just that Jones wouldn't have been available at 38, and Barmore was mocked in the first round by most people, it seemed like. Wish they grabbed a receiver on day 2. I loved Amari Rodgers, who went to Green Bay at 85. If we hadn't been shafted out of our third-round pick from the Bengals situation, we could have grabbed him.
Yeah, well, that part is true.
Yep.
I'm not sure that you couldn't have gotten. I wouldn't feel any different. I think I said this way early in the draft process. The whole I go by the player. If I like the player, I don't. It's rare that I would say, well, I'll take him. Yeah,
But
sure,
not there.
I'll
Right.
take a flyer
Yeah.
on him in the 6th round, because now. But if I'm drafting Mac Jones, I'm drafting him as my future quarterback.
Right.
So with that understood, I don't really care. It doesn't make me feel better if it was the 2nd round pick with 38.
Right.
I'm expecting him to come in and play and be my guy. And if he's not, I'm disappointed.
Right.
And I also don't. I don't know that you wouldn't have had a chance to take him at 38. I think he was going. I think the Patriots were the last team for sure that was going to take a quarterback in the 1st round. I don't think Pittsburgh would have taken. Pittsburgh is one of those teams. Washington is one of those teams.
He's not a fit for Pittsburgh.
I don't know if they would have taken I'm not even talking about.
Doesn't fit into
I'm
that
talking
blue-collar
about
city.
a quarterback.
Yeah. Well, a thing I still can't get over too is that going into the draft, there were a large segment of the draft population that thought Mac Jones was going 3rd overall to San Francisco. I mean, in many circles for a certain time, that was just kind of like, oh, they love him. He's perfect for Kyle Shanahan, and and that's what's kind of strange to me now is that.
Yeah, but
felt
was
like the
all
team
that-
got it. I know, and that's
was-
what
but
I wondered.
everybody-
Was that ever real?
was that
Was
just
any of that
nonsense?
ever
But
real?
everybody thought it was ridiculous.
Right.
Most of the people that thought he was going to 3 mocked that.
Right, but was that nonsense, and was that just smokescreen put out by San Francisco somehow, that they got that out there somehow? I don't know.
Yeah, I still can't figure out what they stood to gain by that, but who knows? Maybe they felt like there was something to gain by people not knowing who they were going to
I was listening to one of your shows this morning, Paul, and they said, well, you knew that the Patriots definitely wanted Mac Jones because that's the only pro day that Bill went to. Bill would have gone to the Alabama pro day if they didn't have any quarterbacks throwing.
It's his favorite person.
Right, he was going to go there anyway. That's a stop in the offseason that he makes. And then they have a clinic. He probably spoke at that as well, So that's I'm not saying that they didn't like Mac Jones, but that's not proof that they did. Because he would have gone to Alabama Pro Day regardless if we were in the market for a quarterback or not.
He's done it.
All
He's
the
gone
time.
to Alabama
Every
Pro Days.
year.
Even when he doesn't go to any others, he goes to Alabama. He used to go to Florida.
Right. When Urban Meyer was there.
And he goes down and hangs out with Jimmy Johnson.
Right.
Like those are the pro days that he goes to. He's the head coach. He doesn't have to go to all the pro days.
Right. They had somebody at all of them, I think. I mean, maybe the first Trey Lance, I think was
we
just,
had people.
Right. But,
yeah, we had people.
And Josh
around.
made
Josh
the rounds.
was around.
And,
Yep.
So
yeah.
How much are you going to learn from a pro day anyway? Is Bill Belichick going to go to a pro day and have his mind blown by what happens? Is he going to
stuff that people are reading in?
I don't read that stuff. I agree with you, Freddie. I don't read anything more into it than what it actually is. But I will say this year, there was more value in going to the pro days than most years because the scouts didn't get a chance to do their due diligence.
See as many games as they normally would.
Well, they didn't get they got to see the games. They didn't get to talk to the people.
Yeah.
Right.
They didn't get to be with the coaches, be on campus.
That's what I was trying to say.
You know what I mean? Like you could see the game. Like I think this year there was value in that, like going to a pro day, and that's why I thought. And I made the comment last night. That story there about Sean Payton not talking to Dana Holgorsen before he took the Houston edge rusher, whose name escapes me now. Like, why wouldn't you make an effort to talk to him?
Just drop a dime.
Like you're just so concerned
you're going to pick
with how it's
going
to be perceived or what people are going to think, and you're just overthinking it. It's like if you like the guy, go talk to him.
I just think that's very odd.
Yeah.
That you would go out of your way.
Not to talk,
just so you could.
There's a lot of subterfuge in football that doesn't.
There
need
is.
to
Oh, right.
Yeah.
They love it. They love it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Because they all think they're splitting atoms.
Yeah, it's just football.
Melvin's in Tennessee. What's up, Melvin?
What's up, y'all? What's going on?
Hey.
Getting to the defensive tackle that we picked, I was watching a couple of games last year. So while I love the fact that they addressed a defensive tackle need. It's amazing when I was watching those games. I was like, I've always said this. It's not a schematic thing, whatever. They really don't have the players. Those defensive linemen we have are getting whooped so bad where it just destroys everything from the linebackers to it just creating big holes. So I do like the idea of a D tackle. It's just always, hopefully we got the right player because it's just I like the direction that they're going. I just always am hesitant on, is that the right player? I saw him a lot of stuff, reading some stuff about his pass rushing ability, and I just really want somebody that could give us a chance on third downs, not 3rd and 3 all the time. Just some people that winning those first couple of downs to give the defense a shot really on 3rd down and not having people run all over them for these last couple of years, honestly. So I just hope this guy can play, and a slightly bummed out we haven't addressed something with the wide receiver. Y'all talked about that.
Yep.
I mean, that's just ridiculous. But other than that, I like the idea. Don't know if it's the right player, but we'll see what happens going forward.
All right. Thanks, Melvin.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's, everything we kind of talked about last night. And, when we got in that conversation last night about, like, who fits what they do, that kind of thing. And I think defensively, I think he is a little bit of a departure for, but I think it's based on potential. I think if it was just kind of a guy like Butler who did one thing and you knew, look, he's never going to be first, second down, do what we need him to do. But I think Barmore has that potential, and that really, he could be one of those guys that really ascends farther than where he was drafted, and I think surpasses expectations a little bit.
The most interesting Patriots fan in the world, James Pettigrew, writes in about wide receivers. He said, would you trade Jackson or Gilmore for a comparable wide receiver? I think the money would be better spent there this year. Who would be a realistic one for a one-for-one swap? I'd rather lose one of them this season for a wide receiver one, even if we ended up paying more than we would for Stephon this year.
No, not at this point. No, I think you got to keep Gilmore and Jackson. I think they're your guys, and we'll figure out next year when we do. But unless they're working trades or things that we don't know, you got to keep those guys. I just, unless you're ready to throw Jawan Williams as a who is he really, even an outside corner, hasn't really played there. I mean, behind J.C. Jackson, Stephon Gilmore, and Williams, it's Michael Jackson, not that one,
right,
and D. Virgin. I mean, so they got nothing on the outside. I mean, Jonathan Jones, Miles Bryant are versatile guys that you kind of move around, but
remember Jason McCourty's no longer here.
He's gone. They haven't made any moves to replace him. I mean, I guess you could throw Jalen Mills kind of generally in that mix, maybe if they're in a pinch. But when I look at depth,
and you're looking at Williams as a safety.
I mean, we never really have seen him take extensive outside snaps unless it was mop up time. So what happens if J.C. Jackson or Gilmore gets hurt? I mean, Gilmore's coming off an injury as it is. Is he ready to go? Who are our Week 1 starter if he's not ready to go?
Would you be surprised if they brought Jason McCourty back? I wouldn't.
Not at this point, but I think it's over.
All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back after this.
The first ever virtual NFL draft is officially open.
I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves.
And let's get to the finish line together.
All right, back here, Patriots Unfiltered. We'll be here until 4 o'clock. Live video until 3, and then we go to audio per NFL rules. 855-PATS-500 is the Ace Ticket hotline. Webradio at Patriots.com is the email address. Dorian writes in about wide receivers. He says, I just want to make a quick point. Why is it that everyone wants a wide receiver? We just signed Bourne and Nelson and have Harry, Gunner, Myers on the roster as well. With a new quarterback in the fold in Jonnu and Hunter Henry being the focus, why not wait and see what Bourne and Nelson can do this season and then address wide receiver next year once you see what these guys can do and your new QB is strong/weak, what you figure out he's weak or strong at. We're going to attack the middle of the field with Jonnu and Hunter a ton this year, and the opportunities for other wide receivers not named Bourne and Nelson will be limited.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that there's definitely.
I want guys better than Aguilar and Bourne.
Yeah,
that's my answer.
And I think that Aguilar and Bourne do have some versatility to play. I mean, Aguilar was really a slot guy until last year when he became, a deep threat. So I think that they can do some different things with those two guys. But when you just look at the history of Harry, if he were to get hurt, you're down to 3 receivers. And yes, the 2 tight ends is absolutely a thing that they'll lean into, but I think that they like to be able to do multiple things, And when it comes down to, hey, we're down a couple scores, we need to throw the ball, we need to get moving. They're thin, trying to talk about 3-4 wide receivers, it's there's not much to work. And you one injury, you're really shorthanded. So usually at this point of the season, you at least like to imagine, if we had a rookie in there, it's like, hey, we got this guy kind of waiting in the wings. Maybe he's not ready immediately, but at least you have an option. You have somebody else to work into the mix.
I'm going to push back a little bit on that. I agree that you don't have that wide receiver one, but we talk about, when it's fourth quarter and, what do? I think they have options on the offense right now. Whether
which one do you like?
Well, when you come to the running back options, when you come to the tight end option, and yes, Aguilar and Bourne, I think there are options. It's just that you don't have that one guy that most of the time he's a matchup. He can win a matchup.
Yeah.
You don't have that.
Yeah, I mean, if they're in a situation where they can run, I'd feel good about that. If they're in a situation where they have to throw, I don't feel good about the options until I see it. Now, if they can, they have 4 guys.
On paper, we don't know.
Yeah, they have 4 guys that could change my mind. I think that Smith and Henry are good players. I don't know that they're go-to guys when the game's on the line.
Right, we don't know that.
They haven't been that for their teams.
Yeah, but they should have.
And the
options.
receivers are complementary pieces. Yeah. The 2 wideouts. To me, I feel better about the tight ends than the wide receivers.
Oh yeah,
yeah, oh yeah.
Dallas is in Chicago, or is it Chicago and Dallas? I don't know. What's up, Dallas?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good.
Yeah, I've made my peace about not getting Justin Fields. But I live in Chicago, and people are already insufferable, honestly.
Positive or negative?
Yeah, I would assume positive,
negative
right?
for me, because I talked to some guy today. He's just like, oh, it's okay. You guys got Mac Jones. It's all good.
Oh.
I'm like, come on, man. It's just like a low blow.
You're in a rough spot as a Justin Fields guy because you got to not only do you have to be disappointed the Patriots didn't get it, you get it from the Chicago fans that they're excited.
So they're very positive on Justin Fields in Chicago.
Kyle Brandt, my boy Kyle Brandt, very excited.
Well, Thursday night. Oh, really?
You're right.
Is he a Bears fan?
Yep. Oh, he grew up in Chicago field.
Is anybody that covers the NFL for a living on TV not openly, unabashed a fan of a team? That's one way that this has all changed dramatically in my lifetime. You never knew the guys that you were watching, you never knew who their favorite teams were.
Right.
Like, I never knew who Brent Musburger's favorite team was when he was hosting CBS.
That's an
NFL.
indictment on journalism overall.
Every
nowadays.
single guy, I could tell, Greenberg, Jets, Brent,
I mean,
Bears.
not that it's not that important, but like with the proliferation of athletes or ex-players, they have their teams, and so now
the players.
but
the
and
players
now
are different.
so like I think now the announcers are like, well, it's not a big deal,
Right.
Yeah.
You're probably right. That is why, because there's so many more players. Yeah, I don't have, Marshall Faulk's going to get up there and he's going to root for the
or root against
Root
the
against the
Patriots.
Patriots.
LaDainian
Yeah.
Tomlin's going to root for the Chargers. I get it. Those are players. They have Willie McGinnis is a unabashed homer for the Patriots. Great. Got it. Why is Mike Greenberg waving Jets pom-poms on the air and this is okay?
Well, it's sports.
Yeah, I
Sports.
I like it to a degree of just just
it's not
reminding
limited to sports though.
what we all love about the game, and everybody grows up with a team. I mean, I think the people who grew up I just generally rooted for the league. Like those people are boring,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I moved to Chicago. I was born in Boston, but I moved to Chicago, and they hate Patriots fans here, man. It's bad.
Oh.
I mean, nobody really likes us anywhere, but
Because
They right at home.
It's because they know we would have won that Super Bowl.
Oh,
2006.
Right,
They know.
Well, they lost it anyway, so they.
What's that, Dallas?
Yeah, so I just wanted to call you guys just really quickly about the wide receivers. I'm not too worried about it. I think Bill knew that we weren't going to get the guy we wanted, so that's why we went out and we signed these sort of second-tier receivers as sort of like a safety. I wasn't expecting to get a receiver this draft, honestly.
But why do you think they knew they weren't going to get one?
I just have a feeling like he wasn't going to aim for them. Otherwise, we wouldn't have signed who we signed.
No,
they didn't sign any. They didn't sign those guys. But
Aguilar, the second-rate receivers.
Yeah, because I think they felt like they could get a really good one in the draft.
I think if they had come even within 2 or 3 spots away from Waddle, Chase, or Smith, they might have moved up to get him.
I agree with you, Fred.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted one of those top. That's why I'm disappointed. I think that I read what these guys say. All these guys saying about how the Patriots really like that one or they really like this one, and I think there's smoke that
there was enough smoke there, particularly Waddle.
There's something to it.
Yeah.
But what I wanted to ask you guys is yesterday's interview with Bill. He was very open towards the end of it, especially the last 10 minutes when he was asked about the Patriots draft process. And it's one of the most open times I've ever seen Bill before.
Well,
he got into how they picked. Oh, sorry, Fred.
Well, the reason why is because the night before he was asked and he kind of dismissed it. So he came back to it last night.
He explains that there's a lot of different ways he didn't explain what they do.
No, but
there was nothing open about that.
But to Dallas's point, he went at length to explain that it wasn't just a number that they put assigned to a guy. There's letters, there's colors, and each of those means something different, and one can override the other depending on what it is, and it's more complicated than this guy's a 9.0 and this guy's a 7.0.
Correct. He just didn't tell you what any of that meant.
Well, nor should he.
No, I don't think he should either. But I don't want to confuse that with there was anything open there.
Okay,
it wasn't.
But he took time.
And I think you're right. I think he felt bad for being short with Phil the night before.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to ask you guys though is, do you guys think that? Even just hearing that, and obviously he wasn't divulging personal Patriots, decision-making or anything, but did that sound like a reason why we keep missing on guys the last few years? Like we're almost overthinking it? It's almost like we have all of this whole system.
No. I'm going to let you know that all the teams, I don't know if they all have the same weight on the color, the number, and the letter, but all teams do that. I will tell you that for sure because I've spoken to a lot of scouts about stuff like that, and they say everybody has different things that they look at and they favor. The weight is different.
That's the thing.
But they all do the same kind of problem. No one just says, I'll give him a 7. No one just does it that way.
That's the thing. You get the same player, but he's different for different teams. It's because one team valued whatever that color was.
I'll give you a quick example, Dallas. Cincinnati for years has been considered a team that is much more willing to overlook character red flags. So they might look at the same guy, and they might have him ranked exactly like you do, but you're really concerned about, 3 or 4 off-field incidents. Or the nature of an off-field incident. Like for the Patriots, how many times has Bill said football's important to him? We want football players, guys that and maybe an off-field incident isn't necessarily like a legal problem. It's a laziness problem in practice. Doesn't practice well. One team might say, well, yeah, I see that, but I don't care about that. Bill might see that and say, I see that, and that's a big knock down the board. Like that's where it changes from team to team.
Yeah.
Is some teams are looking for something and willing to overlook other things. Some teams always are looking for the thing a guy can't do instead of a thing a guy can do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
like being a captain might weigh more on one team than
100
being
years
on
ago,
another team.
I talked to Thomas Dimitrov about a lot of this stuff in a big feature that we did for
Thanks,
scouting.
Dallas.
And there's a lot of different things that you would never even like. It's almost boring when you look at the level of minutia they go through. But for them, it's anything but boring. It's a livelihood.
Yeah, I remember over the years some of the details that you heard, which kind of struck me were, not giving guys round grades, but specifically saying what are they here for the Patriots? How exactly do they fit in? What can they do immediately? What won't they be able to do? Which, I mean, it sounds kind of like common sense, which is weird to me why that, they'd have to explain that as if, other teams are just like, well, he's a second rounder, take him in the second round, that kind of thing. But I know that, like, Paul's favorite documentary, The Cleveland 95, about how they kind of developed this scouting method, and that's where it kind of started.
And how they won the 2000 Super Bowl. It was great.
7 rings.
7 rings. 7.5.
Let's go to David in Iowa. What's up, David? Hey, David. David? David in Iowa.
Going twice.
David in Iowa.
Third time.
No?
No.
He's
gone.
Schitt's Creek there.
Call back, David. We'll go to Andre in Dallas.
That really tickled me.
Andre.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good.
Are you related to Dallas and Chicago?
It's not that I know of. But,
well done, Andre.
Hey, I had a quick thought about the wide receiver position, and had a question about the Barmore pick. I see that there's a lot of outrage kind of building about the fact that we haven't picked one yet, and it kind of baffles me a little bit because. Have we kind of forgotten about, the wide receiver draft history here? Like, I mean, would you rather have the best defensive tackle in the draft or another Taylor Price?
Yeah, I know, but I don't want another Taylor Price.
But that's not.
But would you rather have?
Right.
Would you rather have Terry McLaurin or Dominique Easley?
Right. See, that's the thing. It's like don't give up on the position because you've had some bad luck.
Right.
If they had done that, they would never have had Gronkowski.
Right.
But I'm just gonna, instead of using an extreme bad pick and good pick, I'm going to use it the other way. Would you rather have Terry McLaurin or DK Metcalf or Dominique Easley or Malcolm Brown?
Right.
Because those are defensive tackles the Patriots took in the first round, and those are wide receivers other teams took after the first round.
Right.
Yeah. So you can't give up on it. I
just
say
because
keep
Taylor
trying.
Price didn't work out as a third-round pick doesn't mean the Patriots can never make a pick.
Yeah.
They could have taken a wide receiver that worked.
Yeah, I'm not like this. I'm not on the mindset like the Patriots can't draft a wide receiver. They can't scout.
That said, Andre, I really like the Christian Barmore pick. I think it's a really good pick, and I really like the fact that they saw a guy that they thought was really talented, and they said, that guy's good. We got to go up and get him.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like the aggressiveness to that approach. So this is not to say I'd rather have them picked a wide receiver than Christian Barmore. Now, I wish they got a little more aggressive and they made the trade to go up and get Elijah Moore, who had gone 2 or 3 picks before that. I'd feel even better about it. But Barmore is a really good player. I like that pick.
In regards to the Barmore pick, I was actually thinking earlier, was there a time during the Belichick era when we moved up to take a player, within the first 3 rounds that didn't work out? It seems like typically when we move up, you get aggressive with, with a player that we really
Juwan
like.
Williams.
Those guys typically.
Juwan Williams would be one that didn't work out.
Well, jury's still out, isn't
No,
it?
it's not.
No. Wow.
Boom.
We could just say, as long as they are collecting a check from the Patriots, the jury's still out, and we wait till he actually officially gets cut. But he, it's now year 3. He hasn't really played.
Okay.
This is the year 3 jump.
Can't think of many others.
That's all I had, yeah.
All right.
And they traded up for Jones and Hightower in that.
Jones and
2012.
Hightower are both
Those
good,
are both
good
picks
trade-ups.
to trade up for.
I just think generally, like, for better or worse, we don't really truly know what we have in the 2 tight ends we signed and the 2 receivers we signed. And when you look around the league, it's all about offense, right? It's all about explosive weapons and, being able to stretch the field vertically and, and all those things. And on one hand, we just don't know what Bourne and Aguilar can do in the system. Maybe they'll be really good. Maybe they'll fit in and they'll be a great complement to the 2 tight ends and they'll really figure things out. But I think it's the unknown that kind of kills us right now. And, being able to say, wow, if we had taken another young wide receiver who had real good speed, it would feel like, all right, we're starting to kind of build a foundation here of that explosive offense. And, right now it's hard to say what is this offense. We don't know. They've added 4 significant pieces that should be huge parts of it, none of whom have ever played a game for the Patriots yet.
Yeah.
So, it's just that's the way the league is going. You want those kind of weapons. You see kind of what the Jets are doing, and they're really building up their offense. And, if you're going to compete with these teams, you got to be able to score. You got to be able to move the ball.
Maybe their focus is going to be the tight ends for the time being.
Yeah, and that's what my concern is. There was a phrase there. You said, like, all these guys that have never played down for the Patriots. Like, what if Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry do exactly what they've done with their previous teams? I think Patriots fans would be underwhelmed.
Yeah, I mean, I think
they're both really good players, but I think that people are looking at them like they're 80 catch guys. They're like Kittle, Kelsey light. They're not. They're like 40, 30 catch guys. Like they're, Henry's a little better when he's healthy. He hasn't always been healthy. I think Smith has been good in the red zone. I really like I like Smith better than Henry. I like Smith's athleticism.
If offense is something we had to make better, what do you think would get more production? Drafting 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers, or signing 2 veteran tight ends and 2 veteran wide receivers?
I mean,
for production now,
I need
today,
I need to know who they are. I need to know who they are.
I know, but
like the tight ends,
probably
signing
veterans.
the tight ends because this
last
tight
year
end
they drafted 2 and they got
because
nothing.
they didn't have a realistic chance to get Kyle Pitts. But if you're asking me, would I rather have signed these 2 guys or drafted Kyle Pitts? I'll take Kyle.
Yeah, but
Pitts.
I'm talking about the package: 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers.
I think generally speaking,
I'd rather have the draft.
Yeah, I think a proven product.
But if you had to do it, if you had to get better
right
this
now,
year,
now I would take the draft. I know what those guys are, and I don't think it's going to make me that much better.
And you know what the draft guys are?
No, I don't. But I know what they're not.
Okay, but
that's the difference.
Okay, I don't understand that. But we're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we got a special guest on the line right after this.
When did Bud Light Seltzer start making lemonade?
Probably when 2020 handed us all those lemons.
New Bud Light Seltzer Lemonade, packed with lemonade flavor after a lemon of a year.
Opponents? I've gone up against thousands.
And there's an opponent we're all up against, COVID-19.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves.
And let's get to the finish line together.
All right, we're back here, and the argument continues during the break.
It never ends.
Not an argument. Not an argument at all.
But as promised, we have a special guest hanging on the line, the Ace Ticket line.
Outside.
It's one Megan from Orlando. What's up, Megan?
What's going on, guys?
Hey!
Oh, there she is. Long time
no
here.
man.
Do you miss us?
Good morning, Bill.
Oh, I was trying to call in all week, but my schedule wasn't aligning. I would call in and you'd be off the air. I texted Morel yesterday after our show. I said, "Are you still on the air?" She was like, "No, we've been done." So anyways, been trying to call in. Thought day 3 was a good day to do it. This is usually where Eric starts to lose patience,
right?
And Paul
and
gets angry. And
Eric's game has been strong.
I have not wavered one bit.
There have only been about 11 harumps, which is well under the over-under.
You're way totally over-exaggerating, Paul.
So, Megan, I'm sure you're paying a little bit of attention. What do you think of Mac Jones?
I'm not sure that he's the guy, but I love that they did it.
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah,
like,
that's what
you
we
really
are.
do just say everything I say.
You gotta take him. If he's there, you gotta do it. Now I don't know how he'll be. I really have no idea. I mean, some of these quarterbacks. I mean, I mean, let's be real. Most of these quarterbacks drafted in day one aren't going to be the guy. They're not going to be the franchise quarterback. But, hey, he was there. They were aggressive. I never thought they were going to do it. I was waiting for Bill to trade out. I was just waiting for him to do it.
Yeah, I was starting to get that sinking feeling, too, when they got close.
Surprised us all.
Yeah,
So,
I think
it's exciting.
a lot of people agree. They're glad that they got aggressive and took the guy. More importantly, how's the WWE?
I know. I was hoping Meg would be a little bit more WWE style. Like when we asked her out, Meg would be like, "Let me tell you something, brother." Like, go into like a full WWE thing.
What do you think of the draft? It doesn't matter what you think.
Isn't it funny? I mean, 2 weeks on TV, and I've interviewed 2 fights. Like, 2 fights is just broken out, right?
Meg, what I loved most was when when we first heard you had this job, and that that's what I was laughing, imagining is like you doing an interview and then just a fight breaking out, and I just loved that like the very first clip that we saw was 100% exactly that. You're like, Otis, and then all of a sudden.
But you know what? I think
giant
this
melee.
makes sense now because didn't you do a fight during a basketball game last year?
Yeah, wasn't it UMass
Right?
URI? Wasn't there a fight?
Eric, my first CBS game, a fight actually broke out during my post-game interview.
Right,
I
that's
guess
what
it was foreshadowing what was
exactly.
to come.
So they knew they knew what they were doing when they hired
you drive
her. They're
people
like,
to fight.
She's the girl that interviews people when there's fights going on. So let's hire her.
But what has it been fun so far? 2 weeks in?
Yeah, it's a blast. I mean, it's so different than what I was doing, and I definitely have a lot to learn. I mean, it's more performing than it is reporting.
Just be careful.
I mean, the whole production.
Yeah,
the
don't take
way
any
that
chairs in the head.
I don't want you to get hurt over there.
The way they do everything is great, and everyone's been so nice and so helpful. I'm currently unpacking boxes because I'm moving, but yeah, I mean, look, I never thought I would be here. I thought I'd be in sports for my whole career, but hey, the opportunity came up, and let's give it a try. But it's been a blast.
So are the wrestlers like when they're not in character? Are they like really nice and?
I think that was really good. Yeah, me too. Good job. Great fight.
Yeah, very nice. I mean, they're different people off the camera than they are on the camera, which is interesting to adjust to. But
how are the clothes and the makeup?
The makeup, they do my hair and makeup before every show, which is so cool. I feel
you look so glam.
Like a celebrity.
Yeah.
And then I've been shopping for clothes on my own. I know it's amazing that I've been able to match, but I've been both weeks.
Girl
one
clothes.
So
do you have a budget?
Like
did they give you a budget?
I do, yeah.
30 pairs of leggings. They're like, no, this is not going to work.
Running shoes. What's this?
Can I wear the Frank Thomas T-shirt tomorrow? No. How about Maglio?
Yeah, but actually, my Megan Thomas was one of the finalists for my name. Everyone's been asking me, like, oh, why'd you change your name? Did you get married? A stage name.
Oh, it really confused people.
Yeah.
I did see that
Yeah,
someone asked me if you got married already.
She get married.
No,
Married?
it's not even my married name. Megan Thomas was a finalist for a name, and then Megan Morant. So those were the 2 finalists, and they chose Megan Morant. So that's my WWE name. That's my character. It's who I play on TV.
That's great.
To be Megan Morant.
That is awesome.
Are you guys having fun?
It's been a great weekend, in all seriousness. Even from me.
Yeah. Yesterday with Mac on the field was awesome.
Love them? You love them? All the picks?
No, I don't.
Right?
Don't necessarily love all the picks. I love the weekend. Like it's been an exciting draft with the Patriots being right in the middle of everything. It's awesome.
Yeah. They traded up.
Well, you always find negativity, but Deuce, I was concerned about him. You like them all, right?
Yeah, I mean, I really like Barmore, and I definitely like Mac. I was a little bit of a head scratcher on Perkins. Just I'm not really sure about him, but I like Stevenson too. So, but it's been great. I mean, I think yesterday out on the field was awesome because we had all the media out there. They brought Mac out with Robert and Jonathan and introduced him, and you had fans under the bridge, cheering, and you had fans up in the vaccination sites cheering. So it was just a great moment of feeling like, the pandemic and all this, like, we're rounding a corner where, to be there with Patriots and fans and people getting vaccinated. It was a cool moment after, the last year of what we and you.
We even had Mac in the studio, Megan. They brought him in.
Did you really?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah.
And we told the story about you and Brady Quinn.
We did.
Once upon a time.
We're talking about awkward Brady Quinn pictures, and I'm like, I took one of those.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I'll never meet him. What was I going to ask you? Oh, so over/under. When does Mac Jones start for the Patriots?
Week 2.
Week 1.
Fred has it week 1.
I got week 1.
My take is he better be
the best
we
quarterback.
better be looking at these guys in camp, and we better be saying Mac Jones is better.
Yeah.
Now, does that translate into a Week 1 start? I don't know. But it
need
better be evident that he's the better quarterback.
I need a cop-out answer, and I'll tell you on May 12th when the schedule comes out, because if the bye is like Week 7, then I'll go Week 8.
Week 8.
Yeah, that's about where I was thinking. I think like Week 8.5.
Yeah, like right. If the bye is not like right away and not really late, I think you have a chance to get his feet wet, and then you go into the bye like, let's get this kid ready, let's go.
I just think what's going to kill us is if it's what happened last year and Cam's not performing well, and we keep getting Cam's our quarterback, and I just don't want to waste this season of Mac. I got to get some kind of experience.
He's got to play. He's got to play at some point.
You can't do that this year.
I think it will be like the Tua situation where he comes in after the bye. Decision is just made. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, and Tua was going up against Fitzmagic. Mac is going up against Cam. I mean, neither of those guys are any good. So Mac should win the competition.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. The Tua thing with the bye. Yeah.
Well, Megan, thanks for calling in. Get back to unpacking boxes. We'll see you on Friday Night Raw.
Northwestern guys dominating the
draft.
Smackdown.
Careful those
It's
chairs.
Monday Night Raw. It's Friday
be
Night
careful.
Smackdown.
Be careful with this new job, Megan.
All right. Yeah.
All right. Miss you guys. Have
All right.
Bye.
Megan Morant.
Meg
from
Morant.
the WWE. Calling in.
Yo,
Mo B, man.
It's good too. I was realizing when watching some of her clips from last night. It's good she's a little tall, because all those athletes are giants. And Megan can stand with that.
All right. We're going to take a break. When we come back, more of your calls, and then we'll be going to audio at 3 o'clock. So we'll be right back.
We are Patriots, and our standards are a little different. We don't just carry the hopes of a city, but the hopes of an entire region. For us, no uphill battle is ever too high to climb. And our favorite ring is the next one. Our job isn't done until the final down is played. And everyone knows we gave it our all. We the fans march forward with the power to do what it takes. Just like we've done time and time again. We are the home field advantage. Bank of America is proud to be the official bank of the New England Patriots and stand with them as they defy the odds. Copyright 2020 Bank of America Corporation.
Picks keep coming in.
We've lost the fat man, and we're running lean. Freddie had to step out for a quick second. We're working our way.
11 picks away. I think.
Working our way nicely through the 5th round here.
Panthers pick is in.
I think
The Raiders are on the clock.
Oh, is Jacksonville not up? That was Carolina right there.
Carolina's
Keith
pick is
Taylor, cornerback. So we're working our way through the 5th round pretty quickly, and unfortunately, we're going to have to step aside pretty soon on the video side. But we have another hour to go here with you on. And there he is.
Yeah.
There's the big guy who steps out, literally seconds before the video is going to go off.
We did. It was still part of the TV thing. It's a short break, Fred.
Oh, Hardy would enjoy the short break.
break.
Fred complaining about the short breaks. Hardy would love that.
Hardy on line 10.
What's the matter? Not long enough?
So it's nice to hear from Megan.
Yeah.
Even nicer to see this 5th round going as quickly as it
Very much
as
so.
it is.
We're 8 hours into our broadcast extravaganza.
And we are getting close to being on the clock, Freddie. So
yeah,
that's great.
All is well right now in Foxborough.
The next hour we'll have a pick live on the air.
Let's go to some of these emails at webradio@patriots.com. Sam writes in, what if we use Cam like how the Saints use Taysom Hill? We've heard that before.
No.
Not a fan.
I think you could see him in some short yardage situation as a runner. That's about it.
But at this point, if you got this guy Stevenson, you're starting to we got a lot of options of the power. Why would you? I mean, unless you're trying to tomfoolery, which at that point you're reaching to the bottom of the barrel, trying to
Tom's in Tampa.
What's this?
Okay.
They've got 3 quarterbacks on the field. What's going to happen?
I love those SPFWs. Put three tight ends and then Jacoby Myers.
Does that ever happen? I mean, I guess Tim Tebow's going to give another
I just don't know why that really threatens the defense. Some of those guys you don't have to cover. They're not going to be threats to catch the ball. But Freddie, you should let everybody know that we're going to be saying goodbye to the video side.
In about half a minute or so.
I just want to say, through the first 4.5 rounds, great job.
Yeah,
great job.
Nice job. Nice job.
Right.
We
Hey.
did it.
Hey.
Yeah.
Good job. We got our guy. We got our guy.
We got our 8 hours of broadcasting
All right.
in.
So people are like, what are they doing? We're making fun of war rooms.
Yes. So really, really nice job.
Great stuff.
Really nice job.
Great stuff, everybody.
Look at us.
No one's going to keep us from broadcasting this long.
That's right.
Well, they might.
Well,
might be Robert
true.
Kraft.
If anyone's listening, they might. Yeah. All right. Justin, what?
I'm just going to say thanks to everybody
Yeah,
who's
thanks for
watching,
sticking with
and I
us.
hope
Yeah.
you continue to listen.
Yeah.
Thanks for looking at our faces.
We're going to continue this thing until 4 o'clock, audio only. So just keep listening and calling in 855-PATS-500. webradio@patriots.com is the way to email us. Justin in Orlando is emailing
Mike,
us.
you could wait a second before you take your pants off.
Sorry.
My
Yeah,
God.
Sorry, I'm
Calm
sweaty.
down.
Justin says, how do you see the potential of New England's defense this year? If Barmore and the free agent upgrades in the front seven work as we hope, can they play up to a top 5 or 7 defense in the league?
Ooh.
Keeping most opponents under 21 points makes it a lot easier for the offense to be successful.
I think there's a lot of raw material to work with. I don't know, and I don't really care to speculate how it will all flush out in